Okay, I'm on the frame subassembly, create a frame subassembly portion of the tutorial. So on the ribbon tab, we want to click the assemble. On the ribbon, we want to click the assemble tab and then create. And we want to enter frame as the component name. And before we were using standard millimeter.ipt, but notice we're using standard millimeter.iam here. We're going to create a subassembly. So I'm going to click that and then OK. It says click the assembly origin XY plane in the model browser. So we want to click the assembly origin XY plane in the model browser to align the subassembly to the top level assembly. Just gonna, okay. And now that we've done that, the frame subassembly is the active component, which you can see here. Okay. And in the assembly. So click the Assemble tab component panel, and then we want to select create, and now we're going to create frame layout, no space, and we're going to create a part, standard millimeter.ipt part. Keep losing my part in the so click OK. Align the part to the XY plane of the frame subassembly. Before we've been using the skeleton assembly. This time we want to use the XY plane of the frame subassembly. So I'll click on that. It says because it's the first part in the subassembly, it is grounded and aligned to the subassembly origin. So it tells us to exit the sketch of the new part and delete sketch 1. We don't have to do that in 2013. Now we want to derive skeleton based on IPT into the new part. So we'll go to the Manage tab and then Derive. We want to exclude all geometry other than frame after we open up the part. So let's see. Okay, other than the frame sketch is what we need to get rid of here. And I'm reading along. I haven't forgotten about you. Let's see. Exit the sketch and then let's see. Derive skeleton based on IPT in the new part. Exclude all geometry other than the frame sketch. So it doesn't tell us to do this, but I don't think it wants us to have surface bodies or work geometry or parameters, even though it doesn't directly tell us that. So let's select OK, and let me select Update, and it says ours should look like theirs, and it does. We just need to rotate it around a little bit, or I do anyway, so we can see the Z that you have there. Now it says click return on the quick access toolbar to return to the subassembly environment. Notice we're at the part level right now, so we want to go back to the subassembly level. Now it says click the Assemble tab, component panel, create, and now we're going to create a new part called HOR tube. Again, we want to use a standard millimeter.ipt part, and then OK. Now it says expand the origin folder under the frame assembly, which is here. My origin folder is already expanded. It says click the XY plane node. Okay, so it aligns the part origin to the subassembly origin. Again, we don't need to exit the sketch or delete sketch 1 to tidy up the model browser like it says in step 13. Now we want to derive the skeleton based IPT into the new part. So we want to go to, I'm going to update real quick, Manage, Derive, skeleton based IPT. Okay. It says exclude all sketches other than frame sketch. So we want to exclude all sketches other than frame sketch. Exclude work geometry and surface bodies. Include parameters, it says. Use one of the parameters from the skeletal part to control the extrusion distance of the base feature in the new part. Note reference parameters and external parameters cannot be included. So those are the different model parameters, And let's take a look at the different user parameters. Okay, so those are there. We'll just leave all those. We'll leave this default setting like they have here. Maybe we should include. It's not going to give us an option to include everything, so we'll just leave it like it is, and then select OK. Hopefully that'll give us what we need. Now it says click 3D Model tab. Let's update 3D Model tab. Create Panel, Extrude. Select the profile highlighted in the following illustration. Let me rotate this back around where it's like theirs. So select the profile here and click the arrow next to the value input box containing the 10mm default. Select list parameters and click tube size. Okay, this was the parameters that I showed you right before we left that derived part dialog box. Click tube size in the parameters list and then click OK. So it gives us a predefined tube size, so we don't have to actually type in an amount for the extrusion distance. Okay, so it says add a 5mm fillet to the 4 long edges of the new part. So we'll go to fillet here, set this to 5, and then we will click on the long edges it says. And rotate that around. And then OK. And now we want to go to the shell command, which is under the modify panel. Select the 2 end faces of the extrusion, which is here and here. And next to the thickness, we want to select list parameters again. And now we want to select tube thickness from the parameters list, and then OK. And you can see that it shells it according to a predefined amount. And now we just need to return to the frame subassembly, so we can just return that way. Okay. And now we're back in the frame subassembly.